Hey everyone, I'm back. Today we are joined with Isa, and we're gonna have a conversation on body image, body positivity, how society view people's body, and I just thought it'd be nice to bring back Isa into our conversation because, yeah, we have good conversations, I find. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm really glad to be back here. And I'm really looking forward to having this conversation due to how, like, with the pandemic and everything, body image is a big deal now. And just like the ways it's impacted everyone differently. So I'm really excited to have this conversation.
Yeah. So let's just get to the conversation, I guess. So I, why I want to have this conversation is I was looking at Lizzo and how she's viewed in the media, how they treat her in the media because of her body. And sometimes you go online and you see people saying horrible things whenever she has a video. For example, the last video she did with Cardi B, and how they literally insulted her, like insulted her body shape and everything, to the point where she was crying. And yeah, then I told myself, well, this is nice. Well, it's not nice, but it's important to have a conversation on how we treat each other, basically, right? And so I guess my first question is, uh, in the past, have you ever been body shamed, or do you ever feel as if the way people would see you is just it was they saw it very negative. They saw your body negatively or whatever.
Yeah. Well. Hmm. Yeah, I could say that I definitely was body shamed. I wasn't really big as a child, but I guess the only body shaming I had was like my stomach wasn't completely flat or I didn't have abs.
Mm.
Because that was a big deal. Like when I was younger, especially as a teenager, everyone had abs. It was just like normal. And so I never really had abs. Uh, I was like, I just had love handles, and that was it. So it was kind of just something that I was made fun of. So that's even why, for at least a long time, I never had any like photos of myself at the beach. I'm 22 right now, gonna be 23, and I had like my first bikini photo. Because I never wore one ever. Because I just felt like I have to have abs to wear this swimsuit, or my stomach has to be completely flat, or I have to look this way.
Yeah,
Um, like because of that, I never really had a chance to just really see what my body looked like, beforehand. And I look back, on pictures of myself during that time, and it's like my body was normal. So
yeah,
it was just kind of crazy how I would say like the media too. The people around me and the media definitely made me think that like your body has to look a certain way for you
yeah,
to enjoy certain things or to wear certain things. Like um, I can say at least for now that it is really ridiculous that I never felt comfortable to just wear a swimsuit
mm,
up until now, because I felt like I'm not allowed to wear one until my body reaches its goal. So I kind of took that experience of joy from myself to be able to, love my body in all its stages. Um, I feel like, you know, um, the body shaming too, I would say I don't necessarily blame the people that body shame me, either because it's just like there were certain trends, throughout the years, and like the trend at the time was just you have to have a flat stomach and abs.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's like that's also what the media was feeding us at the time, especially with 2000s films where like every single person who was a teenager just had abs. They never really showed anyone else's body type. And especially for me as a black woman too, I didn't really see any other black women's body types outside of just the regular, um, you know, big breasts or small waist and
Yeah.
a and a big butt, and that's it. Like just this idea that all black women's bodies are shaped that way,
Yeah.
and not really seeing like myself in that as a kid was kind of like weird because I'm like, is my body supposed to be this way? And then on top of that, people also projecting this expectation. Like, why doesn't your body look like that? You're black. Why doesn't it look like the typical black woman's body? So yeah, it was definitely very strange. I think growing up, especially here in Canada, where they definitely projected a lot onto like black girls. Yeah, black women as a whole. This idea of what their body looks like, specifically from like American media, of like how the the black celebrities or like black actresses specifically, how they would look in films or in music videos.
Yeah. I mean, I had this not a bit the same story if I could say, but well, it's completely different because we we come from different, you know. Anyways,
Yeah,
let's get to my story because me too. I when I was younger, I was kind of well, scrawny. I don't know if it's the right word to use, but I was pretty thin, pretty skinny, and I had a hard time wearing a t-shirt. Like
yeah,
even in the summertime, I would wear always like a long sleeve shirt because I didn't want people to see my the fact that I'm skinny, of course, right? So I was always trying to hide myself, and I wasn't really body shamed, but I would hear people body shaming other people,
hmm,
and I would get petrified. So it would force me to wear a sweater in 25 degrees, for example. And
yeah,
I didn't want people to see how skinny I was, right? Of course, I'm getting older. I did gain a bit more weight. And then the thing happened, am I gaining too much weight? Am I, you know, especially in the dating world, of course, you know, like in the dating world, especially in the LGBTQIA plus community, you have to look a certain way. And people, they always box you in in a box. Like, you know, there's like the jock and there is the, and I think it happens also in the straight world, right? But and I would always like try, it was difficult for me to, you know, show up when I would, before I met my husband, of course, before I would, you know, I would go on dates, I was always like, you know, oh my God, they're gonna see my bones, they're gonna judge me, they're gonna make fun of me. And yeah, so just like you, I think body shaming, it's like, I don't blame the people.
uh-huh.
But I think sometimes we also have to be able to have a conversation with. I think we have to have a conversation with people and how we the how can I say this? So we have to look at what society pushes people, why society pushes people to do the things they do. I mean, sometimes society is the issue. Sometimes, you know, there are some people who are just, you know, evil, and
Yeah,
you can't really do nothing about it. But I think society, just like you were talking about the media, and how the media, you know, bombard us with all those images. And I think for me, it happens a lot more to women, more specifically Black women.
uh-huh.
And just, you know, the image of like, this is how you should be. And then the moment you are the moment we review this certain shape according to the 90s or the 2000s or the 1800s, right? It changes all of a sudden. So then you have to change over again. I have to be a certain way. And it's just, you have to always fit what society tells you to be, right? And if you don't fit in that category, then this becomes, there's people who body shames, and they just say, like for example, now there's like BBL, for example,
Yeah,
the BBL kind of, you know, body and everything, and how we force this image on women. And I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, more specifically, how we force on Black women on how they should look like.
uh-huh.
And yeah, so I think society does play a large a large role in people body shaming each
Yeah.
other. But I also think we also have to look at, at also the individual or what's happening in the family dynamic. You know, are you a family where, because we've seen that a lot, with, people who do lots of exercise, for example, they exercise and they go to the gym and they get muscular. And then the moment somebody talks about body positivity, for example, Lizzo talks about, she's comfortable in her own skin, they started attacking her. Yeah, you're comfortable in your own skin, but do you know that health-wise you will get a heart attack and you shouldn't be this way? And then,
Yes.
like, yeah, if we talk about like people who body shame, people who like, where am I going with this? I was going somewhere with this. I totally forgot where I was going with this. But yeah, people body shame. Just like I find like the difference between body positivity and being healthy, right? Is
Yeah.
something that I find a lot of people use to put down other people. What do you think? I don't know. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. I agree with that. I definitely think people love to play, a nutritionist or, a doctor and all these things all of a sudden and they see Lizzo and it's like, oh, okay, suddenly you're a health major. Okay. Um, it's really sad but also really ridiculous. Only because I feel like a lot of people are just really ignorant about bodies.
Yeah,
Because definitely it's just because of the media, it gives people this idea that the prototype is thinness. Just being
yeah,
thin is the prototype. Anyone else is an anomaly. And it's like, there's like 7 billion people in the world. There's no way that like
yeah,
being skinny is just um, it's just the like the only body type that everyone has to go back to, or at least the most natural.
yeah,
Because in the same way, there are some people who are skinny and they can't really gain weight beyond their certain body type. It's like people can also who are bigger can also be in the same situation. It's like they can't go below a certain weight because it's just within their physiology. It's not really realistic or even healthy. Uh,
yeah,
a lot of people just seem to forget how genetics plays a role into it, and
yeah,
how there's certain like um, parts of the body that have to have specific fat distribution. So it's like people like some people being thin is them being underweight. So it's just like you can't really apply, society standards on people when it's just within human beings. It's like our bodies are so different. And I really feel like the world would be very different if we got to see different bodies at least. Or we weren't fed this idea that like everyone's body either has to be Victoria's Secret model or someone on the cover of like Men's Health magazine. It's
yeah,
just that's not like, and even just how those people got like, um, was Zac Efron. He was talking about how he didn't drink water for like the whole day for like while he
yeah,
was filming just to keep his abs. So it's kind of just like no one kind of just wakes up, and eats and lives, it's like every day without making some sacrifices to look the way that they do. So it's like if you're not allowed to drink water just to keep this physique, it's like it's not natural. If it was natural, you could eat and you could drink water and you could do all these things and your body will still remain the same.
yeah,
uh, yeah, I really think that especially in the West, there's a very like warped sense of like body image and what everyone's body is supposed to look like. Because I feel like everyone is so focused on looking like on the internet instead of looking at people around them. 'Cause I think for me at least, like when I take time to kind of just look at, women's bodies around me, specifically Black women, it's
Yeah.
kind of just made me feel less. I kind of got back into reality when it came to
Yeah.
like realizing that's like not everyone, is shaped like a BBL body. Like that's it's just there's some like it's just some bodies are just different, and like not all Black women have to be shaped specifically that way. Um, so yeah, I definitely would say that because of the age of technology, specifically like the generation like Gen Z, and how technology is kind of all we were fed. It's like it is inevitable that like we will adopt this idea of what a good body looks like when all we look at is just the internet as a reference.
Oh, hold on 2 seconds. What happened? Oh, there you go. Can you see me? Oh, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Sorry
It's
about that.
okay.
Yeah, go continue.
Yeah, that's just where I left off.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and hold on, I'm just gonna look at my phone just to be sure why it cut off. Okay, it's working well. I'm gonna cut this part off. But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and I think I think it then what does it force people to do things that, and I have to be very careful when it comes to the discussion of, plastic surgery or, body enhancement in a way, because, I think in yeah, you can tell me if I'm wrong, right? I think, if it makes a person happy to do is to enhance something in their body, they can do it, right?
Yeah.
But I think what it does to sometimes like society, when we're fed, we're looking at Instagram, and I come from a generation that, Instagram was, well, I use Instagram, of course, I use all those things, but I was born in, in the 80s, right? So I come from a generation that technology was starting, and then it became bigger right now, right? So I saw the changes happening as life was going for me, right? So when I look at the Instagram now, before the way we were fed the images were on books, right, on magazines, and then on television. But now I think become a bit more intrusive. You go on Instagram and you see those people who are just, posing and muscular, and they have muscles, and then you see 59 million views or 59 million followers, and then you have people, oh, I want to be like that, and then they do things that are completely unhealthy to get to that stage. I mean, we look at people as young as 15, saying, okay, I want, plastic surgery. I mean, this is something that happened also in the 90s, of course, but not because now we have, with the technology, we see things, we hear the news much faster. So you hear the news of a person saying, oh, the person's 15, and they say, I'm gonna, I'm gonna do a BBL, which is most dangerous surgeries to do, of course, right? But they wanna say, I want to have a BBL, and they're 15 years old. So I think sometimes it pushes people in doing things that are dangerous, right, for themselves, and that they don't have to do it. And I feel like society has a huge role to play in it, the media, and sometimes even within the family dynamics. I mean, I, I've heard stories of people who would say, "Oh, I'm not eating. Oh, I can't. I'm not eating celery." And I told the person, "Oh, why?" Like, "Oh, my mom thinks I'm gaining a bit too much weight, and you know, I wanna change because my mom said this or my dad said that, or mom wants me to go in the pageant, and she said if you want to be in the pageant you have to exercise, you mustn't eat that, you mustn't eat this. We It's just too much. Like it
Yes.
becomes a bit too much. Yeah, yeah, that's what I want to say, of course. Yeah, but yeah, and then so have you ever, I think, in the past, like if it's, I don't know if it's too personal, but in the past, 'cause I know sometimes I did that, and sometimes yeah, I want to do that. But in the past, did you ever l- think of changing something in your when you look at stuff like I want to change this, I want to change that, I want to do a surgery if I had enough money or whatever. Did that ever came to your mind, to the way you see yourself? I don't know. Is my question
Oh,
makes sense?
of course, of course.
Yeah.
For a long time, I hated my smile. So I really, yeah. So my plan for a long time was like, if when I save enough money, I'm gonna completely just close my gap and just like, I
Yeah.
want teeth. Because for me at least, I don't really see a lot of people in the media who have gaps. So I kind of didn't feel like, I just didn't like on top of that how it made me stand out. It didn't really help that, I'm dark skinned. On top of that, I have a gap. So it's like I stand out two times. So
Yeah.
it just felt like at the time I didn't like the idea that I, just had unique features. It just felt like um, I already stand out so much, and I just didn't really feel comfortable with yeah, I didn't feel comfortable being kind of um, standing out because it didn't feel like a good thing, especially living here in the West, specifically in Canada. It was not a good thing. Because what standing out and looking beautiful was, having blonde hair was the thing, or being tan. That was someone who stood out and looked beautiful. And anyone that wasn't that just, stood out and not in a good way.
Yeah.
And so for me, I wanted to make myself invisible as possible. And I think that just now, learning to really love my smile more, has made a difference. Because I think even just hearing people also tell me that they do like my smile, or they think that it's beautiful, has definitely helped me a lot. 'Cause I think uh, it's just really hard, I would say, when you don't have a point of reference.
Yeah.
Um, to look at someone that look like you because to this day, I don't have any point of reference to see someone who, is like, um, I guess, well loved in society and deemed as beautiful. At least growing up, that wasn't really, I didn't have that. So it's like, for me, it's just seeing, everyone that people kept saying was attractive, everyone that like people would fawn over, and seeing how all those women did not look like me. It kind of just sent this message that's like, until you look like this person, are not beautiful, or you cannot really be seen that way. And I guess with my body too, um, not surgery, but I would say I just wanted abs, just be able to have that, just to be able to feel, like I have the ideal body. Um, and I think it's just, uh, I'm even thinking now, sometimes I ask myself, like, what, how would my life really change that much if I had abs? like,
Yeah.
uh, like what actual difference would it make in my life? I wouldn't be happier. I wouldn't really, I can't walk around without a shirt in public. It's just having abs doesn't really give me any benefits,
Yeah.
besides people just staring at me during the summer in the beach. Besides that, it actually has no value to my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think asking myself those types of questions, kind of like, how will changing who you are really benefit you in the long run? So I just learned to love like the features that I have, because for me, I decided to look at it in a good way, in a positive way. That it's like, there aren't a lot of people that look like me, and
Yeah.
that could be, and that's not a bad thing. It's like, some people, are glad that, people like me exist, because it's kind of like I'm not the norm, or I'm just
Yeah.
not the type of woman you see every day. So I think really owning like my uniqueness really changed things for me, because it's like, yeah, I'm not what I don't look like the everyday woman. So that for me is like a, yeah, it's a good thing.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think one of the things I'm kind of happy now because we are capable of talking about it. I
yeah,
think problem is that when we don't talk about the problem, we don't know, we can't. When somebody then tells this is a problem for me, we can't take it seriously, right? Because we're just like, oh, it's just you. You're the only one person feeling this way. Look at all the other people; they don't feel this way. And now the good thing is that we can actually have conversation about the body image and how body positivity is important. I find, me personally, I think, yeah, if you want to decide to be healthy, if you want to decide to do exercise, if you want to decide to even, go do some surgeries, right? I do think it's important for a person to feel comfortable, be at peace with how they are and how they look like, and then go into what they want to do. They want to do exercise, they can do exercise. They don't want to do exercise, they don't have to do exercise. It's just like I feel like sometimes we force people this image of first when it comes to the media, like we said, like we bombard them with abs, and especially with women, like you have to be thin, you have to have the BBL type of body, you have to be skinny, you have to be this, right? But I think what's happening now is that as we're talking about, and not just that, also with some people, not everyone who are into exercising and into looking a certain way, how they body shame people like Lizzo. I'm talking about Lizzo, but that's just like the only person that comes up to for now, like Lizzo and yeah, and it's just like, now that we can talk about it, we can talk about body positivity first, and
hmm,
then go into into what you want to do next. You want to do exercise to stay healthy. You want to, but just coming in with the healthy, you have to stay healthy. Oh, you have to like, I don't know, like a top model walking down the runway, which is impossible.
yeah,
Um, um, doesn't really help in keeping people healthy, if that makes sense. Am I
yeah,
making sense?
yeah. You are.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. So yeah, I think we talked about it. I mean, do you want to add something more?
No, I think I covered everything.
Covered everything, yeah. So guys, if you like the conversation, then like, comment, and subscribe. It was nice talking to you, Isa. And yeah, so thank you for watching. You have a wonderful day wherever you are. Have a good evening, morning. Bye, wherever you are. Bye.
Bye.
And,